Hi, in this video I'd like to talk about the benefits of 20/80 thinking. What we mean by 20/80 thinking is really 20% of people in organizations are above average performers because they think and act in ways that are different than the 80% average, below average organizations and individuals. And so I think it's important that people gravitate towards the 20%. When you do, you'll experience your own personal performance enhancement. You will separate yourself out from the 80%. You'll be more noticeable. You'll be more competitive. You'll be more likely to surround yourself with people who are also high performers and who think the same as you do and who will certainly help you in your career progression. And in the end, you'll have a more progressive and satisfying career. This 20/80 thinking came to us originally via the Pareto principle, which is also known as the 80-20 rule, and that basically says that 80% of the events are due to 20% of the causes. Over the years, we also heard statements like 20% of your customers will give you 80% of your sales, or 20% of the salespeople do 80% of the sales. For me, it really hit home one day when I was looking in our local newspaper in the real estate section, and I noticed that 20% of the real estate agents had the great majority of listings. So I thought to myself, well, those 20% must be above average performers as compared to the 80% of the rest of them. As we got into business at CAES, we first started as recruiters. We've obviously grown into a whole range of services, but our initial service was primarily third-party recruiting. And the reason that we got into that was because the great majority of recruiters that approached me as an employment candidate didn't have a clue of what they were doing. So we said, well, here's a great opportunity to go in and do things in a different way. So right from the get-go, our approach was also always different than the great majority of recruiters and what the great majority of hiring companies wanted. So we positioned ourselves that way from the beginning. That being said, what then happened was that, the reason really was, since I was a business person myself, I always thought that I should treat other people, business people, the way that I would like to be treated. And so I always had a focus on performance. As a business person, I want to surround myself with high-performing people, either internally or externally. And so I just assumed that everybody would think the same thing. And so we really positioned ourselves to help our clients to hire high-performing people. There was no sense us helping them to hire poor performers or average performers. So in order to do this, we obviously had to have an understanding of performance and what made one person perform better than another. We also needed to know where to find them, how to identify them, how to assess their performance capability as compared to the performance requirements of the client, and also to communicate with them. I think a lot of times organizations and HR personnel and recruiters don't really know how to communicate with high performers, and I think they miss out a lot of times on successfully interacting with them. So in that process, though, we also realized that high performers also want to work with high performers. So when we had top-level candidates, they weren't interested in going into average or below average organizations, working with average or below average teams, or for average or below average managers. I mean, this is where people come and go on the basis of management, comes from, is really the manager has to offer value to the person. And if they don't offer value, that person either isn't going to come, or if they're already there, they're not going to stay. So understanding that, we quickly realized that our market was essentially working with the 20% of high-level candidates and the 20% of organizations, managers, and teams that wanted to bring them into their organization. Along the way, our services revolved more and more around various ways to help our clients with performance. And so leadership development, management development, performance enhancement, team development, that sort of thing all was mostly of interest to organizations in that high performing um, group. What we found was that high performers become high performers because they always want to improve their capabilities, and so they're very open to somebody coming in and helping them. And we also saw this from an individual standpoint in that they didn't want us to offer them a job. Our candidates in this group generally wanted us to help them with their career development, whether it's in career coaching or helping them enhance their performance capabilities, leadership capabilities, managerial capabilities, in order to position themselves to get that next level job. So in the end, it really became our market is the high performing organizations and individuals that are in the 20%, and that ranges from CEOs to VPs, HR, engineers, salespeople, sales managers, technical staff, whatever. We're always dealing with people who have that high interest and high capability in being top performers, and it's a good match for us. What I've also found is that along the way, I've gotten advice from people, and one that stuck into mind was a mentor once told me, Jim, everybody needs what you have to offer. All the organizations, all the individuals, they need what you have. The problem is, stop trying to talk to everybody. And I thought, well, I mean, that's basic advice. Always gravitate towards demand. That makes sense. But what he was saying was a little bit more. He was saying, focus on those people who have an issue that they want to resolve, but who are willing to do something about it. And they're the ones that should be your market. And again, that fit with this 20% because these people, some people in the 80% want something to happen, but they're not as focused on making it happen as the people in the 20. And so what I found is that organizations or individuals in the 20% were very enjoyable for me to work with, basically because they really understood that there's a direct relationship between success, whether it's organizational, individual success, and their performance. So they cared about performance, and because of that, they were determined to be successful and to acquire somebody's help. And so what my mentor was saying, be positioned to be the person. They've already made a decision to move forward, be the person that they want to work with to help them to move forward. So we found this group to be more competitive. And to be competitive, they're very interested in ongoing skill development. So that's where we can come in and help them with that. That requires an openness to change, and also the willingness to put in the effort to change. So we see that they're willing to invest in themselves or invest in the people in their organization. They see value in getting help from other people, but they also give value as well. They're also big helpers. I learn a lot from either my organizational or my individual clients. You know, I bring my way of thinking and my level of expertise to the equation, but I also learn a lot about their capabilities and expertise as well. So it's quite an enjoyable experience for me. The other thing that it strikes me is that they're very collaborative. They're looking to work with you. People in this group tend to want to be sold, and they end up getting sold by people that don't perhaps offer them the benefit that they want or the service that they want. People in this group, they quickly realize the value, and they quickly can see how it relates to them. And so it isn't a sale, it's just a matchmaking process, which is really, all it was for us from a recruitment, and still is from a recruitment standpoint, is we're not salespeople. We don't sell an organization on hiring a specific candidate, nor do we sell a candidate on joining an organization. The best long-term performance match is going to occur when both parties see the benefit of working together. And so that really comes out of a collaborative matching mindset rather than somebody trying to take advantage of the other person. On the other hand, and we're not saying that the 80% are bad people. I mean, they're people. But if there were any bad people, that's where they'd be. They wouldn't be in this one. But the 80%, I think differently, and I don't see them as seeing as strong a relationship between performance and success. I think that they hope to be successful, whereas these people are determined to do it no matter what. So we see more of a hope for success and more passive and accepting posturing rather than being highly competitive. Sometimes there's a reluctance to change, and sometimes there's a reluctance to receive input from other people. And most often I find that they don't offer you value back. They're really taking. What can they get from you? And I haven't found as much value from their standpoint to helping me either to grow or to progress in any way. Often I find that they want things handed to them. So they don't really focus as much as the 20% on quality. They're more want things free and fast, and again, they're less likely to focus on quality, and they're more likely to be, again, less collaborative and to try to take advantage of the situation rather than to work with you. As a result, they don't really invest in themselves as much. They look for others to invest in them, whether they're governments or employers or whomever. They want other people to do the hard work, whereas these people fully understand the value of investing in themselves. So in the end, for me, this is a nice place for me to be, position ourselves as an organization. As a business owner, my success is very much dependent on working with people who appreciate what we do and the focus on performance. And I find that when I surround myself with other people who are high performers, I learn more. It's easier work to do. And I think my potential continues to develop along the way because of what they offer and help me to challenge myself and to grow my skills and to learn from them along the way. So I think the message really is, and for those of you who perhaps understand what I'm saying, is there's enormous benefit in focusing and gravitating on becoming high-performing people and associating with high-performing people and high-performing organizations. It will move your career forward. It will help you to be more successful, and in the end, it's a lot more enjoyable. Anyways, thank you once again for listening.